Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. Today, in honor of my friend Squishy Unicorn 4, we are going to be making a candy corn chocolate chunk cookie cake. I will be telling you the story of how this recipe came about and where I found it a little bit later on in the video. Let's quickly go over the ingredients we're going to need for the cake portion of today's recipe, starting with 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, 1/2 cup of loosely packed brown sugar, 1/2 cup of cocoa powder, and I'm using the Hershey's Special Dark Cocoa Powder today, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We're also going to need a 3/4 cup of room temperature butter. I'm using an unsalted butter today, so I will be adding a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. But if you have salted butter, you can omit that extra salt. And finally, we are going to need 3/4 cup of chocolate chunks and 3/4 cups of candy corn and a few extra candy corn for decoration. For the icing portion of this recipe, we are going to need 2 cups of powdered sugar, 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, and I'm using the same Special Dark Cocoa Powder, 1/4 cup of room temperature butter, 1/4 cup of shortening, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 2 tablespoons of milk. And those are all the ingredients. So let's go ahead and start getting this together. I've already gone ahead and transferred my butter into my bigger bowl here, and I'm going to add in both of the white sugar and the brown sugar. I'm going to combine these together with my hand mixer until this is well creamed, probably about 3 to 4 minutes. So after 3 to 4 minutes, this is what your mixture should look like. And the next thing I'm going to add in is my vanilla extract as well as my egg. And then I will mix these until it is thoroughly combined. Alright, there we go. I've got the egg and vanilla extract completely combined in here. And now I'm going to add in my salt and my baking soda as well as my cocoa powder, and then I'll add in the flour. And now all we need to do is mix these up. Alright guys, I've got this all combined and it's extremely thick, so don't worry, this is exactly what it's supposed to look like. And the last thing we need to add is our candy corn and our chocolate chunks and stir these in. So while I'm getting these combined in, I would like to remind you of the Gamers and Geeks playlist that JPK Death and I have going on our channels. It is a community-driven playlist made up of you, our friends and YouTube family. If you would like to be a part of it, it's really simple. All you have to do is go out and make a cooking video, and then once you've done that, post it to your channel. And then let either JPK or I know in the comment section of either our latest cooking videos, or if you're a part of our Discord servers, you can let us know over there as well. All we ask, guys, is that you do mention the Gamers and Geeks playlist somewhere in your video, as well as leave a link down in your description to it, just so we can continue to support all the fine folks that have already contributed to the list so far. Alright guys, I think this is well combined. So all I'm going to do now is transfer it into a 9 to 10 inch cake pan lined with parchment paper, and then I've sprayed the sides with cooking spray. Alright guys, I have got our batter all spread out, and now it's time to bake it, and I will be doing that in a 350 degree preheated oven for about 18 to 20 minutes. The blog post Life, Love, and Sugar that I got this recipe from states that at the end of 20 minutes, if it still looks a little underdone in the middle, to go ahead and pull it out, that it will continue to bake as it sits and cools on the counter. So I will see you once this is completely baked and cooled so that we can start making our icing. Alright guys, our cake is out of the oven and it is completely cooled down, so it's time to make the icing. And I'm going to start with my butter and my shortening, and we're just going to cream those together until they are smooth and well combined. Alright, there we go. The next thing we are going to add in is our vanilla and our cocoa powder. And then I'm going to stir these together. Alright, now that I've got the chocolate incorporated, I am going to add about half of my powdered sugar in at this point. And stir this in. Maybe a little bit more there. There we go. And now I'm just going to start stirring this with a little bit of my milk. So while I'm mixing up the icing, I would like to tell you the story behind this recipe. And it actually came from watching Squishy Unicorn's stream. And somebody had called her Tashi corn. And I said, gee, that sounds like a limited edition Halloween candy. And then one thing led to another, and then the next thing I know, they asked if I could come up with something. So I went out and I searched the internet for candy corn recipes, and surprisingly there are a lot of them out there. And this is kind of the one I settled on. I thought, you know, a sugar cookie would be too easy. Just, you know, a cookie recipe with a little bit of decoration and a unicorn candy corn horn. But I thought, why not go for something a little bit bolder that really incorporated the candy corn into the recipe. And I think that is exactly what this one has done. And I will be leaving a link to the blog post where I found this recipe. I believe it's called Life, Love, and Sugar. So you do go and check them out and check out some of their other candy corn recipes. So I'm going to continue adding the powdered sugar until I get this to the consistency that I want. And I will probably do the last little bit of mixing just with my mixer, just to incorporate a little bit of air into the icing so it's not quite as dense. Alright guys, I've got the icing done, and I did add all of the 2 tablespoons of milk as well as the entire 2 cups of powdered sugar. And I finally have it at the consistency that I want. So now all that is left to do is to move it over into a piping bag. And I'm using one of these pre-assembled piping bags that already has the star tip on the end of it. These are very convenient. Alright, that looks pretty good to me. Let me get my bowl out of the way. And now all we need to do is unfold the bag there. Move our icing down to the tip. Alright guys, so the only thing we need to do with the icing is go around the edges and put some little star drops. Alright guys, I've got the whole outer ring completely iced, and I think what I'm going to do is just put one nice big dollop of icing right there in the center. Yeah, I kind of like how that looks. And the last thing we need to do is go around and decorate it with our remaining candy corn. Alright guys, let's get in here, give this thing a taste, and see what we think about it. Grab a little bit of the icing as well. Oh wow. Oh, I really like this. And actually, it's not that sweet. You would think with all the candy corn and chocolate chunks that we added into it, it would be, but it's really not. I think that the special dark cocoa powder really helped cut through some of that sweetness. You know, actually, I really do like this, and I think I would definitely make this again. I definitely think it's more like fudgy brownie than a cake, but I really do like the flavor of it. And again, it's not overly sweet. So if you guys are a fan of candy corn or just chocolate in general, I highly encourage you to give this one a try. Alright guys, well that is going to be it from me for the day. If you guys like this video, leave me a comment down below if you guys tried this recipe out. Let me know how it turns out for you. Remember to check out Life, Love, and Sugar's blog post, as well as Squishy Unicorn 4's channel, and of course the Gamers and Geeks playlist and my Cooking with Vault Girl playlist. All those links will be down in the description below. And as always, happy Halloween, and thank you all so very much for joining me today. I've been Ball Girl. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.